New to stock we have a Vauxhall Meriva 1.7 CDTi 16v SE 5-door. It's a 2011 on 11 plate, has a full length panoramic roof, has done 32,950 miles. The fuel economy 32.8 urban, extra urban 55.4, combined 44.1. It has a top speed of 102 miles an hour. I think it actually says 172 here, but I'm guessing at 102. It's a 99 brake horsepower engine, 16 valves. 6 months road tax 126.50, 12 months 230. It's got the double spoke alloys here, full glass panoramic roof and suicide doors, which really good for loading if you've got child seats in the back or elderly relatives. Nice and easy to get in and out. Plenty of room in the back. The seats split kind of 50-50, and then there's another section in the centre which, I don't know, supposedly an armrest or something like that. Rear load cover, you've got rear parking sensors here, privacy glass in the back and rear wash wine. Getting in and out seems a lot easier than conventional doors. These doors open backwards and almost to 90 degrees, so bags of room to get in, lean in and so on. It's really a 4-seater, although there is room in the middle for somebody to sit, but I don't think it'll be too comfortable. This bit folds down like so. It looks like there's some sort of carrier system there. I'm not sure what for. I could have done with looking at that before I came out. Headrests are okay for children, and you've just got to put them up a bit for an adult, otherwise they stick in your back. The third rear seat belt there pulls out to the roof. It's nice and light and airy in the back for any passengers. The full glass panoramic roof, and we've also got picnic tables here with cup holders. One thing you have got to remember not to do is pull on that and then hit it with your elbow to open it, because obviously it opens the other way. I'll just take you for a ride in it now. There's bags of room in it for essentially a small car. It's higher than a normal car. It's easier to get in. The back seats are easier to get in with the suicide doors. There's just bags of room. The pan roof finishes it off. It's nice and light inside. I'll just take you for a drive in it after I'll take you for a drive in it after I've told you about the service history. Now, it's got a digital service history, so you won't be surprised if you've watched any of my other videos on cars. You won't be surprised to know that it doesn't seem to be all complete, and we are trying to chase the history. But it's I think it's showing 3 services. That's the scratty old piece of paper that's left instead of a nice service book with everything stamped. But anyway, the car was originally a Motability car. Now, they usually come with a service contract, and they're usually really well maintained. First service, 13th of June 2012 at 6,510 miles at Moorland Motors Limited. Now, they were one of the good old Opel dealers in the old days when I first started in the trade. I knew them very well, and they were a very good garage. I think they sold out to Arnold Clark, because the next service was the 22nd of May 2013 at 11,816 miles. That was Arnold Clark's, which was essentially the same garage. They've even got the same telephone number still, which I remember from the old days of dealing with them. Now, there is where somebody's gone mad with a stapler and stapled both corners, which is very unhelpful. That was an MOT there, so that doesn't count as a service. Then on the 30th of June 2014 at 17,106 miles. Again, Arnold Clark Vauxhall, that's at Blackpool. That was a long life oil change service. So we will service it again before it goes out. That'll bring the servicing up to date, but I'm pretty sure there will be some other services that we are trying to track down. We're waiting for the Vauxhall garage to come back to us. Rang them this morning at 9 o'clock, but as usual with this digital service history bit, it's stupid, absolutely stupid. Bring back service books. And so far I've driven this round a little bit. The only thing I can find is that if you've got a large Starbucks, it's difficult to get it in the cup holder if you've got big hands. But apart from that, it's a great car. There's bags of room in it. There's bags of room in the boot. It's automatic, which for a small car is pretty unusual. So that will no doubt sell this vehicle. I think it would benefit from a new set of wipers, although at first I thought they were rubbish, but I think this car hasn't been cleaned at all. It's just as it's come in, and I think it's been standing a little bit, so there's perhaps tree sap on the window. So that's all working great now. Back screen's working super. I'll just take you for a ride in it. We'll check the door mirrors. Yep, that one's working. Over there, yep, that one's working too. Okay. Good specification. Car's got air conditioning. We've got cruise control as well. It's a multifunction steering wheel, height and reach adjustable, alloy wheels with parking sensors front and rear. Got a front central armrest here with storage space in it. We have 2 remote keys for it as well. We have been very, very busy, and we're getting a little bit behind on the cleaning, unfortunately, which is why I've had to come out and video this car before our detailer Lance has worked his magic on it. It will look like a different car when he's finished, although it's a pretty honest car now. You can use the automatic gearbox in semi-automatic, which you knock the gear stick across, the gear selector across, and you can change up by just moving the gear stick forward and down by moving it back. Looks like, let me just see, yeah, it's a 6-speed gearbox. I think my theory about the wipers on small low mileage cars come true again. Actually, it's just smearing a little bit, so we need to put a new wiper on that. If you're buying this car and you've watched this video, make sure to remind us that we've done it. But I think people with little low mileage cars, especially this type of car, don't need to go out when it's raining, so therefore never use the wipers and never realise that they've perished. Yeah, into automatic. Nice to drive. It's a very unpleasant day today, but one thing I'd always have or I would always order if I was buying a new car, is a pan roof, because it does change the whole cabin, the environment. It's makes it a whole lot lighter, certainly not as claustrophobic, not as dark, and it's a great addition to the vehicle. You wouldn't think an ambulance would come through that late through the traffic lights, would you? But there you go. Perhaps he's touting for business. The instrument cluster on the left, you've got a rev counter. I'll just tuck in here actually. The rev counter, the top coolant temperature, then fuel gauge, then your speedo. In the center you've got an information panel, which at the moment is just showing us we're in drive and the mileage of the vehicle. Although I think if I turn the end there, yeah, that changes it. Shows you how much fuel you've got left, or how many miles you can do before you need to refill. Average miles to the gallon, but it's just been ticking over while I've been photographing it, so that's actually I'll just change back there and reset it. Well, if I remember, we'll see what it's like on the motorway. I've got to be honest, anybody who drives around with wipers like this needs shooting. Yet another one on the massive list of my pet hates. Right up there with rattles. No signs on the flashing on the motorway, so we'll take a chance. Here we go. Nice smooth gear change even when you're accelerating. That's when you tend, on smaller engine cars certainly, that's when you tend to kind of lurch, but this one just slips in. Try and get up to 70. And here we go. Here's the lights. Just as I say that, lights 40 miles an hour. Just before we hit that, 70 there, just below 2,000 revs. And I'll obey the signs now. So now it's unbelievable. There's no sign when you're coming on the motorway, but then all of a sudden it's 40 miles an hour. They can't have just switched that on. I'm getting too old for this. About 20 years ago. So what else we got? CD radio, heated rear screen there. That must be to defrost your front windscreen. Anti-lock brakes. Radio CD, auxiliary in. Unfortunately, I don't think it's Bluetooth. I think it's you have to put a lead in. This off the motorway here. Your electric windows on the driver's door just at the front here, we'll just check them all. Yeah, won't take that one down too far. So they all work too. One thing to note, it is only well, it's a comfortable 4-seater. I think if anybody sits in the middle there, they deserve a medal. And you'd also have to sit, if there is a seatbelt hanging from the roof there, so I'm assuming that is the one for the centre, but you would have to sit with your legs at either side of this, well, what is essentially a handrail. So I'll have a look at that when I get back, if I remember. So again, we're down to 40 there. There isn't actually any hold up anywhere. No doubt the controller there's fallen asleep and not one of the buttons on his panel. Brakes are good, no vibrations. There's no whines or knocks from any of the parts of the suspension. Got rear privacy glass. The seats are built up, stop you rolling round corners or sliding off your seat when you do a handbrake turn in it. The seats, very, very comfortable, really. There's like contrast stitching. It's fabric in the centre with what I assume is imitation leather on the outside. The harder wearing bits where you tend to slide in across and wear the raised bits out. I think that's classed as undertaking there, but the chap in the Golf throwing all the crap out the back. He's not worried about the emissions scandal. Nice car to drive, very, very comfortable. The seats are well padded, but as I say, with it being the MPV style and slightly higher, you get more legroom, not because the car's longer, but because they make it higher and your legs go down as opposed to being stretched out. What a tosser. He's just accelerating as fast as he can into the back of another car in the rain. Radio, smooth radio, turn it up. Oops, just turn the heater up there. Find a station.
But hurry, sale must end this Sunday. Find Arga Bolton at Arga Living.
Arga Bolton. Good commercial for them. So again, door cards, contrasting material, top bit matches the dash, and then the lower half of the car is a darker colour. It's looks quite classy really. We've got polished aluminium around the gear tunnel, door handles, vents, and also these bars which go right through to the back. There's a seatbelt there. Oops, probably just knocked that. Knock that camera now with my head. Should be all right when I get the stitches out. Soaking up the bumps nicely on this road. Great, the farmer's been out again. Definitely need a clean when I get back this car. So anyway, cruise control is on the left hand side there. Your audio controls are on here to knock the cruise on. That's the switch there. To set it, you just pull down. Green light comes on the dash there when you set it on, and you can increase the speed by clicking upwards, reduce by clicking downwards, and also if you've braked or knocked it off, to resume you just click that little rotary dial upwards. It'll go back to the speed it was set at before. These have to be the most comfortable seats I've sat in. It's like an armchair. It's a very nice car to drive. Spent many years working for Vauxhall. At the time, they had the Chevette, the Astra had just come out, the Vauxhall Cavalier, the Vauxhall Viceroy. They've certainly come on over the years. Here we are back at the garage. Not a moment too soon because I can't think of anything else to say.